I'll create a new Spring Boot project. So I'll select Maven here for language Java, and I'll choose latest Spring Boot, and I'll keep package name as com.gradlib. And for artifact, anything, let's say base application or login application or demo application. And for Java, I will make use of latest 125. And dependency, I'll add first one is mandatory web. Next, I'll add Spring Data JPA. Next, I'll add PostgreSQL. For security, I'll add security. To send mail, I'll add Java Mail Sender. And for validation, I'll add validation. And let's add POM book as well. Whether I'll remove this POM book, loan book. I'll remove this with via record. For now, I'll keep it and try to make use of this one. So I have added where Spring Data JPA, PostgreSQL, and then for security and mail, and long book for reduction of boilerplate code. And generate project. I have imported this project in my IntelliJ IDEA and waiting for dependencies to download. Meanwhile, I'll go back to my Chrome window and explain like how any Spring Boot application works. So basically, any Spring Boot application go through the filter. So first it will go inside filter, and from filter it will go to the different layers. Like from filter it will go to different filters, like let's say filter 1, filter 2, filter 3, like that. It will go to the different filters, and at last it will go to the servlet, and from servlet it will go to the controllers. So flow will be something like this. Filter 1, another filter, this will be another filter, or maybe this will be servlet, and then this will be our actual controller where request will come. Okay, and basically Spring security also work in same manner, but Spring security internally from filter, it make use of different internal filter, and it goes to the its own security flow. So I'll go to the Spring security flow. Basically, like here I have already told, like any application works starts with filter, and from filter it goes to the servlet, and from servlet it goes to the controller. So whenever any Spring Boot application has dependency of Spring security, so it will go to the filters, and from filters basically it flows to the Authentication Manager, and from Authentication Manager it goes to the Authentication Provider, and from Authentication Provider it goes to the UserDetailsService. So this overall thing is like security flow, of a Spring Boot, and this is normal filter. And color code this. This is our filter. This is our authentication manager. Then we have authentication provider. And at last we have our user details service. It goes from filter to authentication manager, and authentication manager takes care of initializing the provider or deciding the provider, and based on provider, basically from DB side we will get that type of particular user detail service based on provided like in memory service or DAO service, whatever service we have already present. So this overall, you can say this is our security flow. And this one is our security filter. And by default, for each of this layer, there is one default implementation provided by a Spring Boot. So this one is like username password authentication filter. This one is provider manager. This one is DAO authentication provider. And this one is in-memory user detail service. So these are the kind of default implementation. So any Spring Boot application starts with filter, and request goes to the authentication manager. Authentication manager internally decides which type of provider it should use, and from provider basically it, it decides it gets user detail service. And default implementation for filter is user name password authentication filter, and for authentication manager we have provider manager, and for authentication provider we have DAO authentication provider as a default implementation, and for this user detail service we have in-memory user detail service. So our project is imported into IntelliJ IDEA. I'll try running this. To run this application, I'll comment out all the dependencies that is not required for now, like this Spring Data JPA. Then we don't need it. This one mail for now. Security. don't think this one as well. I try running this. This is my new computer, so it is asking me to set up SDK as well. So I choose the SDK that is installed in my computer. So application is running fine on port 8080. In the next video, we will first see all the steps of this particular Spring security implementation, and we will start step by step by creating registration service, and then we will do the actual implementation of the Spring security and provide our own login service.